can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat.
Welcome back to the ESBR Boxing YouTube channel. I'm going solo today, reacting to the fight we just watched between NAOYA Inoue and MJ Akmadaliev. Inoue getting the job done via decision. The first time he's gone the distance since, well, I think it's 11 fights or something since that first Nonito Donaire fight a good few years ago now. Ultimately winning, as I said, via unanimous decision. The scorecards were 117 to 111. One judge had it, and then the other two judges had it 118 to 110. So comprehensive Naoya Inoue victory via decision. Before we get into the subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not doing so already. Plenty of boxing content on there on a daily basis. Whether it's reviews like this, reaction videos, big fight breakdowns, previews, betting tips, shows, interviews with fighters, etc. Please check it out if you haven't done so already, as well as liking this video and letting me know in the comments what you thought about that fight. But yeah, anyway, he got the job done in the end via decision. And yeah, if I want to be honest, the fight didn't live up to the hype. I think, and that's I would like to start by saying that's no fault of Inouye's, really. To be honest, I think Akmadaliev for me really underperformed. You know, when you consider that he's been calling for this fight for what, good couple of years, and we've heard Eddie Hearn saying that Inoue was ducking Akmadaliev. Akmadaliev himself saying he was going to become the first man to beat Inoue, and that just it was just biding his time. The fight eventually gets made, and obviously it's because of the greatness of Inoue, but you know, Akmadaliev didn't really have any moments. I think it sounds mad saying it, but like if it had have been a 120, 108 every round in favour of Inoue, I wouldn't really have batted an eyelid at it, to be honest. I think it was a comprehensive Naoya Inoue victory. I think when you look at it, you know, kind of didn't. I picked Inoue to win. I thought he would win in the second half by a stoppage because I thought Akmadaliev would maybe try and open up and get caught, get countered. Didn't happen that way. He fought very much in his shell, Akmadaliev, and Inoue. By the last few rounds, for want of a better phrase, he was enjoying it and taking the piss almost. I think, like, yeah, just really underwhelming, underwhelming performance from MJ for me. But let's not dwell on MJ's performance when you know you're witnessing greatness, and now you anyway another victory, another undisputed world super bantamweight title defense against arguably the number one outside of him in the division. There's no one else. Like, it's just, and he won it with ease. Like, nobody's on his level. I think a lot of people thought that MJ would cause a lot of issues there to the monster, and it just didn't happen that way. I think the only he landed the odd time on Inoue, but like it was any time he did, it had no effect on Inoue whatsoever. And Inoue just outboxed him. It was the speed difference was incredible. I think there was times where Inoue was throwing a 1-2, finished it with a left hook to the body, and by the time he'd thrown those three shots, it was like MJ was throwing a 1-2 potentially at the same time, and his right hand, or sorry, his southpaw left hand, um, was only just landing by the time Inoue had already got in and out with a three punch combination. Like, the speed difference was telling. I think it was a big factor in the fight in the end, and I think. And yeah, he fought on the back foot a bit, Akmadaliev, until the end, and then at that stage, like, I know he was toying with him really. I think when he got to the ninth round, I think it was, you know, he was so on top that he began to open up and kind of plant his feet a little more, as if he was maybe going to try and get Akmadaliev out of there. Obviously, didn't do that in the end, but he was just like, it was just easy. It was just really, really easy for Inoue, which I didn't think would be the case. I thought he'd have to work for it. As I said, I thought he would win. I think a lot of people thought he would win Inoue. Perhaps maybe he's got off the deck twice in his last four fights. Obviously against Cardenas last time out as well. Who's a sparring partner of Akmadaliev's, and you know, would have thought that, or training partner should I say, thought that, you know, what Ramon Cardenas learned in that fight, maybe NJ would have took in and even had more success, but it just wasn't the case. Inoue just got him out, won easily. So yeah, just I can't really add much more than other than Inoue cemented himself as the out and out best super bantamweight by a considerable margin. Um, same as He's the top three pound for pound as well. Like that top three of like you might maybe have to have Terence Crawford at number one now after what he did to Canelo last night. I mean, yes, Canelo's on the slide, but Terence Crawford, three weight undisputed champion, five weight world champion. Not only that, going from 135 all the way up to 168. I think you've got to have him maybe as number one now in the pound for pound list. You've got Usyk up there, obviously, for his exploits at cruiserweight and heavyweight and how he's dominated since coming up. And obviously, you've got Inoue as well. Those three are the best three fighters pound for pound in the world. Don't care what anyone else says. They are leagues above your fourth, fifth, whether you've got a Bam Rodriguez and some other guys, your Nakatanis, etc. So yeah, they're the top three. Undoubtedly, and Inoue is just further solidifying himself as an all-time great and one of the best fighters to ever lace up a pair of gloves. So yeah, really, really it was an underwhelming performance from MJ, but I don't want to take anything away from Naoya Inoue because he was just world class. And it just goes to show you that arguably the second best 122-pound fighter in the world in MJ Akmadaliev had barely lay a glove on the monster. So it goes to show you the level he is. So yeah, quickly before round off, just want to throw a few things out there about potential fights going forward for Inoue. I mean, I imagine he won't fight again in the 2025, maybe take a bit of a few months off and come back in 2026 with a bang. There's been a lot of talk about a couple of fights. First one being that I'm going to mention is that all Japanese super fight with Jindo Nakatani. Nakatani, obviously, unified champion at 118 pounds down at bantamweight. I think he's announced that he's officially moving up to super bantam, relinquishing those titles. And that's a fight that really whets the appetite. I know a lot of people who, on the train of a Nakatani victory there, think it would be far more competitive than what we've just watched there. I think Nakatani would actually give it more of a go than Akmadaliev. I had gone on record before saying that I actually think Nakatani would win that fight because we've maybe seen a few chinks in the armor of Inoue of late, but it's just hard to say. After you watch how easily Inoue dealt with Akmadaliev there, what's to say he couldn't do the same with Nakatani. So that's the first fight. I would love to say that's the fight I want to see next for Inoue. I want Inoue's next fight to be against Nakatani at 122. Biggest fight in Japanese boxing history, without a doubt. One of the biggest fights in the world. It would be in 2026. I would hazard a guess at that as well. And just like incredible matchup. That's my preference for Inoue. The other talk, obviously, is a move up to featherweight potentially. There's been talk of a fight with Britain's Nick Ball, who, alongside Lewis Crocker, is the UK's only world champion right now. So, yeah, he holds the WBA belt up at featherweight. I think that's a fight that, if Inoue moves up, maybe on paper with the most favourable at 126. I know Stephen Fulton held that WBC belt, but I believe he is moving up again to 130, who Inoue's already beat. So that if he comes back to 126, maybe that's another fight for Inoue up at featherweight that he would win. But then you look at the other ones and you look at like Rafael Espinoza, for example. I don't think that's a fight we'll see between Espinoza and Inoue, just because of Espinoza's over 6 foot, I think. And now Inoue's what, 5'5" or something. The dimensions of that fight would be mental. But if he is to go up to featherweight, which I think he could do, and I would want to see him do after the Nakatani fight. If he's to win coming through Nakatani, then I want to see him move up to 126. And I think the Nick Ball one is the one where, Ball's a small featherweight. I think he's even smaller than Inoue. So, yeah, a lot of people have said they think Ball could beat Inoue, and I've been a big fan of Nick Ball's, but I would be backing Inoue there. I think just his style, I think Ball can get hit a little too much sometimes, which makes for entertaining fights, but I think Naoya Inoue is just special. And whatever he does next, we'll be tuning in. But yeah, that's my instant reaction to Naoya Inoue defeating MJ Akmadaliev by unanimous decision, easily, convincingly, comfortable, just further solidifying himself as head and shoulders above the rest at super bantamweight. Guys, let us know in the comments your thoughts on the fight. What do you want to see Inoue do next? As always, please like this video if you've enjoyed it. Follow us on all social media platforms, and please, most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you guys again soon. Cheers.